Talked about the 4 B's. Now I'm going to relate that to the sweep stroke. And what is a sweep stroke? It's a stroke that sends the boat forward a little bit, but turns the boat a whole lot. Okay? And there's 2 parts to an ideal sweep. This is a sweep. It's kind of a half moon shape going from the bow to the stern on the stroke. So there's 2 parts to the sweep. The first part is called the bow sweep, which is the first half, from the bow to about halfway mark, and then more importantly is the stern draw, and that's where you pull into the boat. Okay, so the bow sweep is the first half, and the stern draw. Sometimes you use that whole thing together, using the bow sweep and stern draw together, and sometimes you just do just a bow sweep, or you just do a stern draw, depending on what you're doing. We'll see some drills later on that actually do that. So let's look at the 4 B's. As a beginner, I tell people when they're to do a sweep stroke is to just keep the boat flat. The first B is boat tilt, so we keep the boat flat. So we go through the stroke and keeping the boat flat. Now, we're going to see in a drill later on that more advanced way of looking at a sweep on the boat tilt is to tilt toward the sweep, flatten halfway through the stroke, and then away at the end. Okay, so a more advanced way is point toward, flatten, away. And we'll see it in the drill in a bit here. Secondly, like I just said early on body rotation, that's the second B. We want to rotate through the through your torso to get a good sweep, okay? And that means your shoulders and your core, your body actually turns to the thing. Now notice that I'm looking at the stroke to help me rotate, okay? But what I want to actually do is start looking away from the sweep, okay? Okay, so remember your head's on a swivel. It can actually move differently than your bottom of your torso, okay? Always look into your turns. So that's the boat, the boat tilt, and then the body rotation. Thirdly, and more importantly than anything, when they do a sweep, watch the top hand. When they learn to actually go from a high position to a lower position and kick that back elbow up. That's incorrect. When you go from your bow sweep to your stern draw, they do this. You actually want to leave your hand high. In other words, shoulder height throughout the stroke. See that? Instead of going from a high position to a low position. And the reason why, if you look at the paddle really closely, if I go from a high position to a low position, look at the blade angle. It actually dives down like that. It's actually pulling downward, which pulls my stern underwater. So we want to actually keep our top hand high, and that puts my blade in a more vertical position. Can you see that? The difference between that and that. Okay? See how my elbow tucks in behind me on the stern draw of the sweep? Okay? So that's pushing that boat across the bow wave. Every time we do a bow sweep to stern draw, it's going, if you can hold on to that stern draw, it'll eventually get the boat across that bow wave. And then the blade, we feel the pressure on the power surface. It's facing. We want a nice vertical blade, and just like we just talked about, we don't want a diving blade. Okay, and that's a factor of the path of both hands. Okay, so I'm going to give you a simple drill. It's a drill that I teach people to begin with, because we all learned that it was hard to go in a straight line. Matter of fact, if I paddle straight at something, I never can paddle straight in a perfect line. Notice that my bow goes back and forth across the bow wave each time I take a forward stroke. Okay, so what I give beginners is the 10 to 2 drill. We have a play like your hands on a clock. And I'm going to, my direction of 12 o'clock is that way, 10 is there, 2 is over here. And what I'm going to do is point at 10 first. I'm going to take a left sweep, wait, take a right sweep. Wait until I point to 10. Take a left sweep. Wait until I get to 2. And I think you can see the pattern there. You want to be nice and concise. Okay. And then we're going to come back. 10 to 2. Look into the turn. So you're going to take one aspect of these 4 B's that I give you and work on it, okay? Notice that I'm looking into the turn now. A couple of times when I was going out there, I didn't. Look at my path of my both hands. Look at the body tilt. Look at the body rotation. All 4 of those B's are very important. So you work at one of those aspects each time you go out and practice it. As soon as you master the 10 to 2, I tell people go from 10:30 to 1:30. And then once you master that, 11 to 1. And then as close as you can get to 12 o'clock to go in a straight line. So you go from learning how to push this boat across the bow wave every stroke and try to get up as close to 12. Of course, we never get to 12. One other thing, shoot, I forgot what it was now. I wanted to mention. Yeah. On the path of both hands. As a beginner, I actually tell people to start at shoulder height, thrust your hand all the way across like that. That's shoulder height. But since this boat is so low volume, you can actually take advantage of how low it is right here. So as you start your bow sweep, you can start at shoulder height, but as you get halfway through, you can drop your top hand down a little bit lower and then go back up to shoulder height at the end. So that's a more advanced way of looking at it. So, boat tilt. So in review, the 4 B's, boat tilt. As a beginner, we just keep the boat flat. Pressure on the knees and butt cheeks. In a more advanced way, we actually tilt toward, flatten away. We always want, on our second B, we want to have good body rotation throughout our stroke. And remember, by looking into the turn, you might want to look at the paddle first to get that good rotation. But remember, you can always look away from the turn. Thirdly is the path of both hands. We want our top hand as a beginner going all the way across at shoulder height. As it's more advanced, we want our top hand to go shoulder height, down, and then back up as we go through the bow sweep, stern draw. And then the final B, blade, we want to always have pressure on our blade. Nice vertical blade, no diving of the blade. And then we gave the weaving a line using sweep, the 10 to 2 drill to work on that. There's always something else to say there.